Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 45 of Was I in the Wrong? Before we get into our stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. Here on the Misty Morrison podcast, we love to judge, we love to give advice, we love all the petty drama. So whether you are watching on YouTube, listening on podcast, watching shorts on TikTok, reels on Instagram or Facebook, please remember to rate, review, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts on the stories, share it with a friend, all the things. Okay, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for thinking my husband was dead. AITA for thinking my husband was dead. Yesterday, my husband went to go get the new tires put on our truck I ordered the day before. I had ordered the tires and made the appointment in my name and already talked to the employee there, but my husband insisted on going to get them put on. I had the tracker on my phone so I could see when the truck was done. I texted him and said, "Yay, it's ready," and he replied, "I'm about to get it. I'll come pick you up soon." Then his phone died, so I couldn't call him for any updates onwards. About an hour later, I get a call from the employee at the tire shop I had spoken to the day before, asking if I'm coming to pick up the truck because they were closing. I said my husband was there and I didn't know that he left, to which he replied, "Okay, I'll keep an eye out for him." So I started to assume my husband tried to walk somewhere nearby. I start worrying, thinking that something bad happened to him, like he got into an accident walking somewhere. So I call my mom in a panic to give me a ride to go look for him. About 10 minutes later, my husband walks in the door. He's high. I can tell he ate an edible before this adventure, which is why he was so eager to take off work to run an errand, instead of doing something nice for me. He said there was a shift change, and since I made the appointment and talked to the employee the day before, the guy, same one who called me, was looking for me and not him, I guess. So he sat there and did nothing for an hour waiting. Likely because he was too stoned to bother asking anyone what was going on. My mom and stepdad were already there, and they walk outside to let us have a moment. I was so upset. I just thought my husband was dead, and here he comes in high and laughing, telling me to relax. I assumed he was lying about where he had been for 2 hours, which I admit was my mistake. We had plans to hang out after that, which were ruined. Which I was also sad about. I admit I yelled at him a bit because I was upset, although my parents were outside. I left and went to the gym because I couldn't be around him. When I did, apparently he kept pacing back and forth, so my stepdad asked him if he was okay and if he was on something. To which my husband went completely off and is now angry with me for getting my family involved, and wants a divorce. That escalated quickly. He said I disrespected him in front of everyone. I've tried to talk to him. I wrote him a letter trying to explain my POV and begging him to just talk to me and work it out. But he just keeps talking about how we all ganged up on him. He's a grown man that can do whatever he wants, won't tolerate disrespect. He thinks I'm crazy and said he doesn't love me anymore. I just don't understand how I disrespected him for being worried about his safety. I feel like I'm the asshole for making such a big deal out of nothing, but I was just worried about him. Maybe I need to get my anxiety checked? This took a very interesting turn. Yeah, by the title, I didn't know where we were going at all. Okay. Am I the asshole for thinking my husband was dead? No. I mean, I feel like this escalated very quickly, even on your end, with how quickly you presumed he had had a lethal walking accident. Um, a little extreme, going a little far. But whether or not you thought he was dead, you needed to go get the car. You couldn't get a hold of him, so it made sense that you would call someone else for a ride. Getting your mom involved at that point made sense because you just needed help and you couldn't get it from your husband. Totally fine. I mean, I too have had moments where, like, my husband stayed out late and I knew what direction he went in, I knew where he was going, but it was like unusually late, like he should have been back. He didn't say he was staying out that long. And I started to worry about, finding the vehicle off the side of the road somewhere. But this is like 4 hours or more later, not just 2 hours. So that's a little over the top on your side. Maybe you should get your anxiety checked. Okay, let's see. So your dad took it upon, you didn't say anything to your parents, but he was obviously high and apparently paranoid. And so your dad took it upon himself to be concerned for his son-in-law and, asked if he was on something. And your husband blew his top. I feel like, and maybe it was the drugs altering his reactions, but outside of that, I feel like if he didn't feel like there was something wrong with what he was doing, he wouldn't have been upset when someone called him on it. I feel like there has to be something else behind this. Maybe it wasn't an edible, maybe it's something stronger. But for him to just say, I feel disrespected and we're getting a divorce, I don't love you anymore, over this is insane. Because for one, nobody disrespected him. People were concerned about him. Nobody ganged up on him. Your dad alone asked him a simple question. You all had like a separate altercation. So he wasn't ganged up on. And I mean, just the comment, he's a grown man that can do whatever he wants. I don't like that because that is disrespectful of your feelings. That is a disregard for you. Because you never even said that he couldn't do what he wanted. You just said, you guys had plans. He was not where he was supposed to be when he was supposed to be when he said he was going to be there. So you got concerned. You never told him he couldn't do what he wanted. This is a very messy situation. You're not the asshole, but I'm going to call this one a mess because you escalated very quickly. He escalated very quickly. It feels like there's more going on under the surface for him to blow up like that and go this extreme. So I don't know what's happening, but it's messy. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITA_WIBTA_public. AITA for not wanting to split rent equally with my boyfriend who makes 10 times more than me. So me, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for 2 years, and we're moving in together next month. Here's the thing. I make about $35,000 as a teacher, and he makes around $350,000 in tech. When we started talking about finances, he suggested we split everything 50-50, including rent, utilities, groceries, etc. An apartment we're looking at cost $4,200 a month, which means I'd be paying $2,100. That's literally more than half my take-home pay just for rent. Meanwhile, for him, it's like pocket change. I brought up maybe doing proportional splits based on income, but he said that's not fair because we're both getting equal benefit from the apartment. No, because if you were alone, you would not be moving into an apartment that costs that much. I tried explaining that I'd have maybe $500 left over each month for everything else: car payment, student loans, savings, personal stuff. He said I should just budget better. You already have a car payment, it's not going down. Groceries sure as hell aren't going down. Okay, he's 28 male, $350,000 a year. He either talks like someone who, I'm not done with the story yet, I just can't. He talks like someone who either came from money and is used to living this way and having this kind of money, to just say budget better. Budgeting doesn't make your income go up or your expenses go down. Like, the expenses are existing. The only thing that seems to be changing is the amount that she's going to be paying in rent, which she wouldn't be paying if she didn't live with you. Think about that. He either came from money or he has lived with this income for quite a long time to have the, just budget better mindset. That'll fix it. He said I should just budget better or find a higher paying job. Way easier said than done. Like, bro, I'm already working summers and tutoring on weekends. His argument is that he worked hard to get where he is and shouldn't have to subsidize my life choices. Apparently, being a teacher is a life choice now. It is. That was your career choice. You chose to be a teacher, therefore it is a life choice because you knew when you went into teaching that they make shit for pay. Okay. He also said if I can't afford to live the lifestyle he wants, then maybe we're not compatible. Okay. That one really stung. I'm starting to think this isn't really about money, but about him viewing us as equals in this relationship. We've been going in circles about this for weeks, and I'm honestly questioning if we should even move in together. No. AITA for wanting proportional rent splits. Or should I just suck it up and find a way to make 50-50 work? No. No. Hard stop. You are not the asshole. He is. Plain and simple. You're right. I could see it if your incomes were close, like 60-40. I could see that. 70-30, maybe, but that's really pushing it for me. He makes 10 times more than you, but he wants you to pay for half of everything. That doesn't sound like a relationship. Because really, at that much of a difference, it really doesn't matter if you even work, like if you guys are together and equal partners. This, I don't want to say that, I don't know if it's not like a partnership. I don't know if it's about him viewing you guys as equals. I think he has a certain expectation of the lifestyle that he's going to live. He apparently is not comfortable taking care of someone else, which is part of what a marriage is. Like if you guys are, right, because you said boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, boyfriend. Okay, so if you guys are looking at moving in together, that means you're looking at a future together. What does that future look like? Because this doesn't sound like he's someone who wants to share finances. So his money, his $350,000 is always going to be his $350,000. I don't even want to think about when you guys have, if you guys were to have kids. But it sounds like you are basically living a single life with a roommate if you are paying for half of everything, despite the fact that he could not subsidize, but he could be supportive. He could say, hey, this is the lifestyle that I want to live, that I expect for myself. I understand that that is outside of the budget of your income. I will pay for the rent because living here is my choice. And even splitting the rest would sound fine to me if he covered all of the rent, because that's outrageous. If you were not with him, you would not be trying to move in to a $4,200 a month apartment. You wouldn't. You would be living within your means. It's not that you can't budget. It's that he wants you to budget for something that is outside of your income bracket. So you're not wrong for wanting proportional rent. That would be the right way to do it, at least. At least. With this income disparity, I think he should just pay for it. If you are in a relationship and he loves you and you guys are looking at the future, with that much of a disparity and the rent here is pocket change for him, he should just cover it. You're honestly questioning if you should even move in together. No. No, for two reasons. The first is that you cannot afford it. Even halves, you cannot afford your half of everything and still live comfortably. And the other reason, he doesn't respect you. He has not taken your feelings into consideration or your concerns into consideration in all of this. He has brushed you off. Just budget better. It's your fault because of your life choices, because you wanted to be a good human being and teach other people's children. No, he is selfish. He is single-minded in what he wants, and he is unwilling to budge in it. He is not concerned about your well-being or your welfare. He's only concerned about his lifestyle. Don't move in with him. How long have you guys been together? For 2 years. Okay, that's hard. Yeah, I would just, decide you're not moving in together and see where things go from there. I kind of feel like based on his reaction that that's going to be an automatic breakup. And if that's what he decides, then fine. But otherwise, this gives you guys more time to realistically discuss the disparities in your income. The fact that that is not going to change. Like, you chose to be a teacher. You want this. He is in tech. He wants that. This income disparity is always going to be there. So if you guys do not immediately break up when you decide not to move in together, it's at least giving you the opportunity to discuss the disparity and discuss how to make that work going forward. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least you talked about it and you tried, and maybe you could at least come to a mutual understanding that it's better for you to part ways. Sorry, OP, that's a hard one. Okay, story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITAH for telling my roommate to stop acting weird around my girlfriend. So I, 19 male, live in student accommodation with my roommate, 18 male. We usually get on fine. He's a decent guy, just a bit wacky. Never really bothered me before, but stuff got weird when my girlfriend started coming over. She's 18, super friendly, easy to chat with, basically gets along with everyone. But whenever she's here, my roommate acts weird. He laughs at random stuff, hovers around us in the kitchen, even when it's obvious we just want to chill. And sometimes stares at her chest. She literally called him a creep the other day. I tried letting it slide at first, thinking he'd chill, but it kept happening every time she came over. After it happened a few more times, I finally told him to calm it down and give us some space when she's here. I wasn't aggressive or mean, just straight up said it was making us uncomfortable. He got defensive, told me I was overreacting and that he's a bit special. Haven't spoken since. I don't want to have beef with my roommate so early on. So, AITAH, no, definitely not. Actually, I'm really glad that you immediately stood up for your girlfriend. Like, you watched the situation, you waited to see if it would improve, and once she finally said, I think he's being creepy, then you went ahead and said something. You didn't attack him or anything. You just said, this is making us uncomfortable. Stop. Simple. Should have been simple. But the fact that he got defensive is what really shows that he knew he was doing something wrong, or he knew he was doing something creepy. Because if he really didn't understand that what he was doing was creepy, he would have been more confused than defensive. So, you are right. He's being really weird. He is being creepy. Let's see. Roommate. Student accommodation. Maybe you can get switched to a different room and get a different roommate. That's the best I got. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/Am I the Jerk? AITJ for telling my coworker to stop calling me her work husband. I, 26 male, work in an office where we're a pretty close team. My coworker Tina, 32 female, likes to joke that I'm her work husband. At first, I laughed it off, but lately, it's gotten uncomfortable. She'll say things like, my work hubby's here, everyone back off, or if only you weren't taken, all in front of others. My actual girlfriend hates it, and honestly, I don't love it either. I finally told Tina privately, hey, can you please stop calling me that? It's making things awkward with my partner and at work. She got offended and said I was reading too much into it and that it's just a joke, but she hasn't spoken to me normally since, only curt messages. Now some coworkers think I made it weird. AITJ for setting that boundary? No, you are right. Honestly, you tolerated this for too long. You should have shut it down immediately. Tina made it weird because she was being weird. Like, I have heard people, call each other their work spouse. Okay, whatever, but my work hubby's here, back off. If only you weren't taken. That's weird. That's taking it beyond, oh yeah, that's my work husband. No, you said you wished he wasn't already taken so you could have him for a real husband. That's weird. And I feel like if it was just a joke, she could have easily accepted that and moved on. But the way she got offended tells me that maybe she really does wish you weren't taken. And she's being curt now because you crushed her hopes and dreams by saying that you really did not appreciate her advances. So I'm glad you set the boundary. You're right. I just wish you would have done it sooner. And the problem probably wouldn't be as bad now. Story number 5 is coming to us from r/pick A or B. A or B. My neighbor told me to stop jogging because her 8-year-old son kept staring at my waist and legs. Respect her request or keep doing my thing? It happened on Sunday. I had just picked up some groceries and was walking home when it suddenly started raining. I decided to jog the last 10 minutes back. When I turned into a dead-end street, I noticed a woman standing in her yard watching me. She waved, I waved back. Then she gestured for me to come closer. I thought maybe she wanted to say hi or something friendly. Nope. Instead, she told me to be careful when running because my outfit was, in her words, a bit sexy, showing my waist and legs. Honestly, I didn't even know how to respond. She said I was distracting her son, that jogging probably feels good, but men notice things. And that's not the kind of attention you want. I didn't correct her or say anything, I just ran home. But even now, I keep thinking about it. I'm 30. She's not my mom. She doesn't get to tell me not to jog. What would you do if someone made a weird request like this? Good grief. A. Respect her request. B. Keep doing your thing. Absolutely B. Keep doing your thing. Why? It is not your concern that her son is distracted. That is a him problem. I really want, okay, so she said her son was distracted, but she said men notice things. I really want to know how old her son is. Like, is this a creepy 30-some-year-old son who lives in her basement and watches people when they walk by the house? Or is this like a teenage boy going through puberty or like a kid? The context matters a little bit just in the creepiness factor. It doesn't matter for my answer. Regardless of the age of whoever's watching you, what they do with their eyes is their problem. They can control themselves. Her son can look away. He does not have to look at you driving down the street. She does not have a right to ask you not to do something on a public right-of-way. She has no right. You have no obligation to her. Her request is weird. It's disturbing, actually. Like, the whole interaction, very, very creepy. Super creepy. I don't blame you for running home. Her request does not deserve respect, so keep doing your thing. Wild. People are wild. Okay. All right, that is 5 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? That is us done for the day. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Bye.